India's capital, New Delhi, also covered in smog in what's been one of the city's most polluted weeks this year. The average air quality index has hovered between unhealthy and hazardous as fireworks further clouds the seasonal haze. The perennial problem is raising new alarms over public health risk, which kills an estimated 12,000 people each year. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
Air that looks almost opaque and very difficult to breathe. It's now forcing citizens to mask up like they did during the COVID-19 pandemic. It's a public health hazard that's been keeping New Delhi pulmonologist Dr. Ashish Jain busy. More patients are coming into his clinic these days, complaining of a range of respiratory problems, from coughing to wheezing to worsening asthma symptoms.
The number of admissions in the hospital, they go up. The patients who would otherwise you can manage them in the OPD or in a short admission land up in the ICUs, right? And sometimes increased mortality as well.
Doctors say this smog is a deadly combination of toxic gases such as carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide and nitrogen oxides, coupled with dust and the problematic PM2.5 particles that are so small that they can penetrate the lungs. The smog irritates the eyes, nose, throat and can wreak havoc on people's health, even causing death. The medical journal BMJ estimated that air pollution kills more than 2 million people in India every year, the second highest mortality rate after China. A separate study by The Lancet estimated that some 12,000 deaths in Delhi between 2008 and 2019 can be linked to the smog. India's government, however, refuted this, saying there is no conclusive data that directly and exclusively correlates death with air pollution, and the Lancet study had limitations. But the effects are hard to ignore.
I think it is an extra burden on the hospitals, extra burden on the government, and increased mortality in the society. That is the worst part of it.
For New Delhi, one of the sources of pollution doesn't even come from within the capital city, but from Delhi's neighbouring states, Haryana, Punjab and Uttar Pradesh. There, the practice of burning crop residue are a key contributor. Known as stubble burning, farmers burn tens of thousands of hectares of the residue for the new harvest season that begins in late October, even though the practice has been banned. After the crops have been harvested using heavy machinery like this, some of the stubble is still left behind. For many of the farmers across northern India, the quickest and cheapest way to get rid of all of this is to simply burn it down. Researchers say the smoke from there gets trapped in Delhi's surrounding areas due to local weather patterns, choking the city and its population of more than 33 million people.
We have data, model data as well as measured data, which show that on certain days, stubble burning could be contributing as much as 50% of total PM2.5 load in the city.
New data does show a reduction in these types of farm fires since the practice was outlawed. Stubble burning events have halved in Punjab between 2021 and 2023, while Haryana reduced it by 2/3. But India's most populous state, Uttar Pradesh, is still seeing a worrying uptick, with stubble burning up by 45% last year to 808 instances. Experts say one solution is for farmers to use harvesting technology that can better reduce crop residue. This combine in use today, for example, leaves as much as a foot of stubble in the ground, but more motivation is needed.
I believe that technological changes, some incentive in terms of managing stubble so that their time can be saved, and third, providing some sort of economic incentive can solve this problem. We have not done all three so far.
Some states are now offering subsidies for farmers to avoid burning stubble, but the main deterrent has been monetary penalties like imposing fines. But pollutants from other sources must also be addressed, like emissions from transportation and industry that can account for half of all pollutants. Environmentalists are calling for a more aggressive year-round inspection program to check vehicular pollution and industrial emissions. It's a battle, they say, that must be fought on all fronts. Ishan Garg, CNA, New Delhi.